No intro this morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is May the 6th, 2023, and today the topic is the children. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope that you all had a fantastic Friday. Mine was just fine. Y'all know that yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. My day was low key overall. I didn't really do too much. Hung out with my fam. I guess it was a continuation from that Friday night. Hubby ended up staying home, so we did have Cinco de Mayo together after all. And yeah, nothing too much of significance. I mean, spent family time. We watched movies. We just ate, and that's the main thing. That's pretty much the gist. Which I guess is interesting with this topic today, the children. So long story short, I woke up around 4, and I did wake up from a dream. I was trying to figure out like how much I would tell y'all or whatever the case is. I might share, but we'll see. Basically, I woke up from this dream. There was a couple of things that stood out to me in the dream, and I was going to just like wait till 4:30 to get up, but I don't know. I ended up just kind of getting on social media, and then next thing I know, I was interpreting my dream. I was like looking up symbols and stuff like that. And those that follow me and care about that type of thing, I usually go to dreammoods.com to help me interpret my dreams. Now, again, I have to say this every time I share it. At the end of the day, like, we have to take all these things with a grain of salt. We may or may not fully know that this means this or that. So what I tend to do is, as I'm reading whatever it is, if it resonates in my heart and mind, like this makes sense, then I, kind of go from there. I don't just read it and be like, oh, that's what it means, So that's one thing. Just be praying as you read. That's all I would suggest you do. But I constantly use it because usually when I go there, it helps me. It gives me some understanding. And then as I pray about it and read everything after I basically I write down different things that stand out to me in my dreams, and then I go and look at it there. And then sometimes I might copy and paste it or whatever. And then I'll look at everything and see what the Lord, I guess, is sharing with me through it. So basically I did that this morning, and it was interesting. It was interesting to say the least. It felt positive overall. But still. So, well, I guess I done talked about it long enough, man. Y'all probably like, well, I want to hear the dream. I don't remember a lot, but the main thing I do remember, I remember me and my husband. We were, and our son. I don't know where we was at or any of that, but I mean, I wanted to talk to my husband about it and see what he thought as well. It ain't nothing bad though, so I'll just say it, and then I probably won't get too deep into what the interpretation meant, but basically, or what I feel like the interpretation meant based on what I found. But long story short, me and my husband, we were drawing on him. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I'm just telling you what happened in the dream. We were drawing on him, and it was like we were drawing in a checkerboard style. When I was looking up the dream or looking up symbols or whatnot, I also looked into chess as well, because I'm like, it's the same board. But we were drawing in him on like a checkerboard style, except the squares were blue and green. So if y'all want to look up that, I mean, all of that's on Dream Moves. At least you guys can see what that type of stuff means. But I found it to be interesting. What I found was interesting, and I don't know if that's what ultimately got me to the children this morning, but I guess thinking about that, and then thinking about the things that I was receiving as I looked up the symbols and whatnot, and it just had me thinking about just this whole thing of parenting. Y'all know I just got started in this parenting game. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm some, guru or professional or something. At the end of the day, I'm only 5 years in on parenting. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other people that have way more wisdom than me in regards to parenting. But I could just say, like, just as somebody making observations about like the stuff that's going on these days, and then also just seeing how even the stuff that me and my husband do, see how it has impact on our son. It's just very, it's it's more than interesting. It's interesting, but at the same time, it's like such a huge responsibility, right? Like it's just a huge responsibility as a parent, especially now though, right? And I'm sure it's been that way, but I feel like especially now because there's just so much going on. But anyway, these are the things that God put on my heart and mind this morning, and that's what I ended up looking up verses centered around the children, and they were standing out to me. I even went to gotquestions.org and looked up stuff there, even though I didn't put any of that in the Go Deeper section. So by all means, all y'all gotta do is just go there and look up children, and I'm sure you guys will see all kinds of information to go deeper about I guess what we should do as parents and everything like that, and how we should approach all this stuff that we're being faced with, from the schools to teaching our children about sex and everything, right? Just, I mean, it's our responsibility at the end of the day, to instill certain values and things into our children. And I can see that. I can see the importance of that. Even in this short year, like I told y'all, last year I became a little bit more intentional about introducing our son to church and everything. And that has had such a great impact on him. Like he goes around here singing, God, not just gospel, but whatever, singing songs of praise. I put it like that. He goes around here singing songs of praise now. Whenever we pull up to the church, he's excited. There's just different things that, a year ago, because I was getting fed mostly online, and I'm gonna share things with him every now and then, but for the most part, I'm glad that God put whatever it is in me last year to be more intentional about taking him. And I could see the change in all of us, honestly, but especially in him, and everything like that. And so it's just one of those things. One thing I will say about me and my husband, for the most part, we're like almost like a united front when it comes to him. Like, again, yeah, there's things, you know what I'm saying? I think I told y'all before, so I'm not sitting here trying to, I'm not exposing my husband or nothing. It's, obviously I am taking the lead on the spiritual training at the moment or whatnot. And so y'all just be praying for me and my husband. Like, at the end of the day, he's on his journey as well, just like everybody. And so, but in the meantime, in between time, I guess for me, right, since I am a mother, I'm like, well, somebody gotta, we gotta be training this kid now or teaching him or whatever the case is. Because again, I see how important those seeds were in me, right? The reason y'all see me getting up in the morning, all this different type of stuff, is because of the seeds that was planted in me at the tender age of 4 or 5 or whatever the case is. So, I know the importance of, I guess training a child the way they should go and stuff like that. Because who knows where I would be if those things had not been instilled in me. And so, why am I talking about all this? Well, hey, I mean, ultimately, again, this conversation today is about the children. I mean, and like I said, I looked up a lot of things. I looked up a lot of things about, like, should we, should children, should Christian people take their kids to public school, and all these different type of things. Those are things that was answered in that gotquestions.org as I was looking and whatnot. But just in general, overall, let's just talk about the children again, again, right? I feel like we always talk about the children, but here's some verses, y'all. Here goes some verses that stood out to me this morning. So Proverbs 22:6, y'all heard it already, but here it is. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. I sit here and think about my family right now, like my mother's side of the family, majority of them, I put it like that, because I can't sit here and be trying to figure out the number right now. But majority of her and her siblings are into the ministry somehow. Whether they're evangelists or pastors, whatever the case is, and again, with my mother being an evangelist and whatnot and instilling things in me, here I am, right? Years later online, and who knows what my son is going to do, or who knows, things like that. And so, it matters at the end of the day. All of us are a result from the 12, right? The first 12 that was instilled certain values and whatnot when Jesus walked the earth. But when it comes to this child rearing, man, this is one of the main ways we can make disciples by teaching our children, right? Not just your neighbor XYZ. Now they are important too. They are important too. Your neighbors are important, but it definitely is important for us to train our children. Like, even sitting here thinking about yesterday, like we, again, we're spending this time as a family. There's little moments where we're having these random conversations with NJ. Right now, he's still under the pressure that he can marry me for some reason. And I'm like, son, I'm your mother, right? I am married to your father. Like, I am your father's wife. I can never be your wife. Things like that. But it's interesting having these conversations. Like, he's just what, 4, and he's, and it said, oh, you're not mine. No, I'm never going to be yours in that capacity. I'm going to always be your mother. But, it's just interesting conversations that you can have with kids. But that's how impressionable they are, right? That's how vulnerable they are. They don't know until you teach them. And so it's like, anyway. So a little sneak peek into some conversations and whatnot. But again, like, it's interesting because I was interpreting the dream this morning, and then as I started to look up verses and stuff, I went on social media for a split second, and then I started seeing, I think that's another thing that confirmed talking about the children to me, because I started to see like some different posts about like, what was they saying? Maybe I should have wrote it down. My bad. It was on Instagram. I think I might have shared it on our page, the God, Sex, and Love page. So y'all probably see some stuff about kids there, or children, or the importance of rearing them or teaching them. It was talking about exercising, like even parents should be showing their children, not just being the disciplinarians and things like that, but showing, how they love each other and things like that. So, again, like there's times, I hold my husband's hand, there's just different things where it's like, to let him know that, hey, we're a united front here, like, so at one point we had showed him our rings, like, look, because, and then he's like, I want a ring too. He always wants what somebody else got. That's the whole thing about him. You don't pray for him, so he won't want everything that somebody else got. But yeah, so just different things, y'all. There's just different ways that we teach them, not just because of what we say and what we do and things like that, but just everything. It is a form of teaching them. So just something to think about. So then Ephesians, right? Ephesians 6:4. It says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. I don't know how honest I'm gonna be right now, but I'll just say, like, this is a verse that I thought about growing up, and like, okay, how can I say this? I don't know how deep I should get here. Okay. If I love and appreciate my family. I love and appreciate my parents. You know what I mean? You all know that my actual father passed before I was born. So the gentleman that I call my father is technically my stepfather, but he's the only father I know. So no, you know what I'm saying? But okay, I said like this. So when you grow up in that dynamic, right? Like, for the most part, things was decent and in order. Like, I never disrespected him. I never, told him, "Oh, you ain't my daddy." Like, that was never an option, I believe, at that point. Like, I don't even think I even thought like that, really. Because again, he is the only father I know and everything like that. But there might have been things maybe where, like, when I was growing up, maybe I didn't fully understand, or kids, you just think like, oh, not say I know best, but just think like, oh, this makes me upset. Like, even now, my son we may probably make him mad every day, all day with the different, like, discipline, right? Or with the things that we tell him right now, or whatever the case is. And again, we don't understand it when we're kids, because we're like, oh, you're mean, or, whatever, So, but at the end of the day, I guess, as I reflect on what the verse says, as well as like my own upbringing and stuff, it's not about, again, provoking the children to anger. It's not about like being like the hard disciplinarian where, they can't speak, or be the hard disciplinarian where, they're being abused or nothing like that. Like, definitely not. But they do need discipline. Children need discipline, I think we can see what it looks like for kids to not have discipline, because they go around and just think they can do whatever they want to do. And then they grow up with that mentality. And then, I guess get the rude awakening in adult life that no, you can't do anything you want to do. So I don't know. I think I should leave it there at the moment. Yeah, but so again, let's not provoke children to anger, but let's definitely still discipline and train them up with the instruction, right, of the Lord. So Isaiah 54:13, it says, all your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. I kind of wanted to go deeper about this verse this morning, but I didn't. So, but I mean, we all can do that, I guess, on our own time or whatever. But just to make sure we understand the context of where this is coming from and stuff. But even if I just look at the verse itself here, being taught by the Lord, man. And it says, and great shall be the peace of your children. Yeah, I mean, I believe as they receive the instruction from the Lord, they will have peace. And, as we get a little older, we get a little wiser, X, Y, and Z as well. So, but let's go deeper with that verse, I think. Let's go and see what else it has to say. But moving on for the moment, Proverbs 13:24, it says, whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. Ooh, we don't like that. Fist pump, we don't like that. It's so funny or interesting that these days, like when I was growing up, I was hearing about, if you call the police or whatever on your parents and da-da-da-da. Now, I ain't never tried no stuff like that or whatever. But yeah, in these days, the rumor is, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but hey, your child can go and say some stuff to their teachers that their teachers don't even have to let you know about. And things could be, it could get ugly. I'll just put it like that. And it's just very interesting how, we hesitate to discipline our kids, right? Because we don't want, and again, it's a whole different thing. Abuse, that's something totally different than discipline. And then there's a lot of ways to discipline as well. Like, I mean, there's talking, there's a lot of options, as well. But I'm not against the biblical way either, though. But anyway, that's me, But I guess without getting too deep, basically it's saying here clearly that, if you love your child, you are diligent to discipline them. And we can see that, like, this verse, there's one in the Go Deeper section that talks about, oh man, see, I guess I should have wrote it down. Ooh, Lord. Check out the Go Deeper section, plenty of verses to look at there and peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But, if you guys study this thing, I mean, it tells us that, not only this, that it says here plainly that again, you hate your son or whatever if you don't discipline them. But basically just keeping in mind that the discipline is something that is going to stay with them forever, in regards to, teaching them and training them in X, Y, and Z. It's not going to end their life to discipline them. I'm paraphrasing that. But you guys can see what the verse actually says for yourself when you guys look it up. But basically, yeah, man, we have to discipline that child. It's not we have to tell them like, hey, and now I feel like we're getting a little better. Actually, I feel like we haven't had to really, really hardcore discipline him in a while now. Dario's so husband was in the Marine Corps, so we have some alternative ways now. He has NJ doing planks now. So that has been happening. I haven't been able to establish that yet. Maybe I don't know. But that has been something that he has started to incorporate or whatnot, and it works because NJ will be there holding the. I say it's plank position. He says it's supposed to be push-up position, but the kid is doing planks or whatever. Anyway, and then as soon as he get down there, he's like, I'm tired. But that hasn't had to happen too much, is what I'm saying. The reason I'm sharing is it's like, it's happened, of course, but it hasn't had to happen like too much these days. I feel like there's times where I told y'all, what was it, last week or the week before last, when NJ had made me real upset when we was at the church and he was trying to act funny or whatever. And we had a good old talking to or whatever afterwards. And he, of course he's apologized. I'm sorry, mommy, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, but if we don't, right, I just think it just behooves us to do that type of stuff, right? To train him the way we want him to go. Let him understand that, hey, when mommy says, let's go, it's time to go, like, and all that different type of stuff. If we was to just continue to let that type of stuff slide, like, I don't even know. Because he's already, I mean, I think all kids probably had this, but, he already has in his mind that it's NJ's world. I told y'all that a long time ago, and all that type of stuff. Like, he builds a little city. He's like, this is NJ's world and stuff. And so these things are instilled in the children, I guess, when they're born. Like, they come out thinking it's all about them and everything. And we have to teach them, and train them in the way we want them to go. So, I mean, these are verses that stood out to me this morning. I mean, again, y'all can go deeper and peruse, let it marinate on our hearts, souls, and minds. I know even yesterday I came across this Instagram video. I think I shared it again on our page, that it's talking about some different, some alternative videos and content that has been created for kids that are, wholesome, like cartoons and things like that. And so I went through that list yesterday and I was like trying to make notes of them so I can, show NJ some of these shows instead of just letting him put on anything when he gets on YouTube or, stuff like that. It's just so important, y'all. I think anybody, if you're a parent or if you're going to become a parent, whatever the case is, I hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired to, I guess, take some action in regards to being diligent parents and whatnot, because that's ultimately the juice, y'all. That's the juice this morning. I know this is kind of deep for a Saturday, but this is what the Lord has been put on my heart and mind this morning to study. And so hope that you all are encouraged and inspired, because I mean, like they say, the children are our future and all that stuff. Like, so yeah, that's the juice. Now listen, the Bible verse of today is Psalm 36:3. It says, what? I did it again. Sorry, y'all. What is this saying? What I don't know what that says. What's something I am afraid I will trust in thee? What this? Y'all go look up that. Go look up Psalm 36. 56:3. My apologies this morning, but I hope that you guys enjoyed the juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. And I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Yes, have a great weekend. Bye-bye. There you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you are encouraged and inspired. Thank you to those of you all that was tuning in live with your girl this morning. I don't know, y'all wanted to learn about the kids today. That's what I studied, so that's what y'all want to tune into. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to Miss Carol. Good morning to you. What y'all doing up so early? I love you too. I appreciate you tuning in, and I know you know about being a good old mama and everything like that. Yeah, it's just an important job, man. And, like I said, I'm just getting started in the game, and I already see like just how important it is. And like I said, there's just so much going on where it's like, ooh, can we entrust someone else to train our children? Like, I mean, maybe in some things, but not all. I think ultimately the main instruction should come from parents. She said, yes, Lord. The main instruction needs to be coming from the parents, and then outside of that, prayerfully when they oh, you enjoyed it? Well, thank you, Miss Carolyn. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. This, like I said, this is what the Lord put on my heart and mind. I don't know what y'all think about my dream and whatnot. Like I said, I looked up the different symbols and whatnot, and the colors and everything gave me the impression that, perhaps there's some good stuff going on when it comes to, I guess, me and my husband, what we might be instilling in our son, drawing on our son to check apart with markers. But yeah, Yeah, that was the inspiration for today. And yeah, that's ultimately the juice, y'all. I hope again y'all encouraged and inspired. Um, let's be a little bit more diligent as parents, and yeah, it's up to us, man. It's up to us to instill the things that we want them to know and learn and do and all of that. And of course, they're gonna grow up and they're gonna do. They're gonna be led by their own minds and all this type of stuff at some point, right? But prayerfully, then you would have instilled in things in them that again can keep going with them throughout their life. And I'm a living witness, y'all. Look, I'm a living witness. Train a child in the way they should go. Shout out to my parents. Appreciate them and everything like that. Yep, there's a lot of things that we appreciate now, right? When we kids, we may not understand it, we may not fully appreciate it and stuff, but when you become an adult, you be like, I'm glad my mama cared. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad my dad, instilled certain values and whatnot. Like, you'll be grateful for good parenting. And so, um, yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I ain't got nothing else to say unless y'all want to chat to me while I'm still here and everything. But she said, that's right. All right, Miss Girl. I mean, well, look, I asked the Lord to speak through me. That's all it is. I ain't sitting trying to act like I'm just, just little wisdom the Lord want to say through little old me, I guess. But that's all. As for today, I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do today. Well, we'll see. I guess I'll let y'all know on Monday, if the Lord's will, what happens over the weekend. Y'all know that Mother's Day is not far off. Not this weekend. What, next weekend? Ain't it? So yeah. So yeah, let's celebrate the mothers. Look, that me too. I'm a mommy. There's no plans at the moment. I know, like I told y'all, man. Listen, y'all be praying for me because the church we go to asked me and NJ to be in a video, but then they were like, "Okay, mommy, you gotta go." I was like, "Huh?" So who knows what that boy said on camera, and everybody gonna see in the church on Mother's Day Sunday. So I'm praying that it wasn't too bad. I'm sure what. I'm sure he just was annoyingly adorable like he always is. But I hope they edit out some of the who knows what that kid said. Who knows what I said. But all right, y'all. Well, I'll sit here and talk y'all's heads off. So y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to talking to y'all on Monday if the Lord's will. Bye. Thank you, Miss Carolyn and everybody else. I don't know who y'all are, but thank y'all.